But and I know that after MediaCorp, your whole path is more on in
Corporate.
the areas of fundraising,
Yeah.
right? And actually, what I'm interested to know is like human psychology, lah, right? You mentioned in your book, the fundraising amongst the giant, and you were saying that your family is not well to do, right?
Miss average family.
Average, right?
Yeah.
Hawker, then they are
My parents,
creating
that's
the
right.
barbecue or something like that, right?
Steamboat.
Steamboat,
Yes,
yeah,
steamboat
yeah.
business. Yeah.
Okay. So if you look at how life is, generally there's only two paths that a person will walk.
Mm-hmm.
And one is really, I want to make something for myself and that's it, screw the world.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But your path tends to be more is like very similar to mine, that like you want to do good, and you sort of like went into fundraising, and and you mentioned that you were not initially in fundraising yet.
Yeah, that's
You
right.
applied to be in it, and then eventually you got bitten by the bug. You loved it.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So for me, it's like, what makes you think that way, in terms as an individual, that this is the path that I wanted to go, like for your case. Maybe you want to share, let me know a bit.
Okay, I feel that I have strength in selling, right? In sales. Actually, that has been my passion. So after in the corporate world for a few years, I realized that I don't want to just sell to benefit the corporate or my organization in a commercial way. That's it. All right. Okay, my first corporate job was with MediaCorp Studio. I was managing the artists with the celebrities, right? I was a marketing executive then. So my role was simple, is to really approach the corporates or individuals to engage the artists for endorsement. Whether it's for roadshow endorsement, roadshow guest appearance or product endorsement, right? And basically the company will get a cut, but artists will get a cut.
Okay.
All right, because this is a commercial driven enterprise. It's all about money, right? So let's say company A engage celebrity A, all right? The celebrity A make a product endorsement and he or she get paid and the company get a cut.
Yeah.
All right. So my role as artist management marketing executive was to really find deals and funds for this project. At the end of the day, I asked myself, what's the meaning of this? I get paid to help the company to be rich, to enrich artists. So what's the purpose of this? So I say, why don't I do something more meaningful, right? You see, when we have a talent, you have to ask yourself, what do you want to use a talent for? Is it for yourself, or is it just for other people, or for organization, or is it for the common good of people? You have to be driven by a higher purpose.
Yeah.
So I told
agree.
myself, well, since I'm good at selling, why don't I do something that I can maximize my potential, utilize my skill. At the same time, I can create a greater impact in the community. So that is where the fundraising comes in. Fundraising is all about selling as well, but you're selling a good cause. All right, you're selling a good cause and you're creating an impact in the life of people who are less fortunate. And it gives me meaning. I'm someone that I'm very driven by purpose. I'm very driven by a calling. Money itself is important to me, but it is not my top priority. Because the fact is this: a successful entrepreneur will never put money as a first priority. Because if someone is only driven by money, and because of profit, because of financial compensation, you will tend to compromise on certain principle, your ethics, your values, because you're just driven and blinded by money. But if you are driven by another greater purpose, money is not the main focus, then you can able to create something more meaningful. And the interesting part is this: if you don't focus on money, money will just flow to you because you do the right thing.
I agree with you.
Yeah. So end of the day, it is all having a purpose-driven life. Whether it's in relationship, in finance, in business, on every aspect, we have to be driven by a good purpose. Yeah.
Yeah, true. And I really believe, it's like when we are placed in a position of influence, all right, we are placed in a position whereby we have high visibility, right? We are sort of examples for people to follow, all right? And this is where you have to ask yourself, is the example you set for the good, the betterment of humanity, or is it just for your own self gratification,
Mm.
right? So, back to the question again, right? So for yourself, is like, what was the tipping point for you, in your younger days, that you tell yourself that? Because what you just shared in terms of your journey in the marketing, right,
Mm.
in MediaCorp, I believe is a seed that has been planted long ago. It's
Mm.
just that it germinates at the right time,
Mm.
when you are well equipped with the knowledge on how to raise funds, with the kind of candor and the way you present yourself.
Mm.
Yeah, but the seed has already been planted long ago. So my
Mm.
question is, it could have actually been when you are young, right? So is that house maybe touching a little bit on the sensitive side, lah?
Sure.
Okay, like the family,
Mm.
what kind of upbringing, what kind of values that you learn from young,
Sure.
maybe you want to share with me
Of
on that?
course, of
Yeah.
course. So as I was mentioned, as it was mentioned in my book, Fundraising One of the Giants, I was I don't come from a very well-to-do family.
Mm.
My parents, they were hawkers. Right now, they have retired. Right.
Okay.
So since I was a young boy, when I was even kindergarten, I really helped out at the business.
Okay.
All right. And I was pretty much exposed to the working world. So I don't really have a childhood that emphasized so much about having fun, having a lot of play. It's a lot of work lah. Okay, is that during holidays or weekends, most of the time I will be helping at the store. So when I was young, I was very much exposed to hard work, resilient, and I saw how my parents worked so hard, and the values of hard work, diligence, and honesty was inculcated in me. Because my parents, they are very honest people. My as they always tell me, must do the right thing, must be honest, don't cheat, whatever. So I saw that in their life. So in a way, I value that values of honesty and hard work and integrity, right? But on the other hand, I want to have a breakthrough in finance, because I know that this is not the way. I don't want to end up when I grow up. I want to be a hawker. I don't want to. But at that time, the only way to break this vicious cycle is to really get a degree.
Okay.
That was what we were all taught, isn't it? Means you must study hard, get a good school, get good grades, have a degree, and then find a good job, and then that's where your life will be so-called set.
Mm.
You see, at different phase of time, all right, we have different seeds planted in our mind. At that time, we thought that this is the way. I was have this seed of like, you must really study hard. So what happened was, I have 4 other siblings. My 2 elder brothers, they didn't have university education, and my elder sister, at that time she doesn't have,
Mm.
and they sort of, my parents, they pin all their hope on me to say, hey, you must get into university. So there is this pressure for me. And I'm somebody that I don't really enjoy studying.
Okay.
Yes, I really don't enjoy studying. And I forced myself to study because I was driven by purpose. Is I don't want to disappoint my parents. I just want to do well in my studies. And hopefully I can get a degree, make the family proud, and get a good job, and then get married, start family. So that was my mindset. Okay. But of course, along the way, things changes.
Mm.
All right. So people do change. Your values, your mindset, your thinking sometimes do change. By the end of the day, is that the core principle cannot change too much. Like for me, I believe in integrity, honesty, and it still stays with me to today. Of course, the approach to dealing with people, the approach to dealing with things, it can deviate a bit here and there. But I think the core principle must be our guiding compass in life.
Yeah.
Because or else we'll be so lost. We'll be driven like left, right, center by people, by situation. We cannot have we don't really know how to move forward if we don't have core values or anchors in our life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. Yeah, so like, and usually what I see in people is that when you don't have an objective, I would say you have a vision,
Goal, yeah.
a goal, well, like it's being said, right? The people perish because there's no vision.
That's right.
Yeah, so likewise for ourselves, if we don't have a so-called, grounding principles to hold on to. Then we are, well, like the winds and wave being always beat and batter us, right? And then we just swing left and right lah. Then you'll be always at a loss. So good, thanks for answering that. Then, like for yourself, right? Yeah, I want to tap a lot on this book actually. I only read halfway. I'm quite slow reader.
It's okay. I can summarize for you.
Yeah, I like the part where, and correct me if I'm wrong, because when I'm reading, as I'm reading about this book, fundraising amongst the giant, yours is on what do you call it? Technically, wealth of an individual.
Yeah, that's right.
Right. So, don't you think is also the way I see is very applicable? Like in my case, my course is really like also fundraising among the giant, but on the wealth of wisdom.
Okay.
Yeah, which is we want to like
Sure.
get them to expose themselves, to be vulnerable and share their innermost workings of their
Sure.
brain.
Nice.
Right. So maybe for your case, right, when you actually talk to a person, okay, in networking lah, take for example, or maybe even in when you're talking about doing fundraising, right, there are people whom you meet that trust first. They adopt that mentality. I trust you first.
That's right.
Until you screw me left, right, center, then okay, that's it with you. Right. But there are people who are, well, very, very skeptic,
Sure.
very skeptical. They are always like trying to find, okay, so what's this all about? You're trying to go to the bottom of what is your intention in meeting with me.
That's right.
Right. So in your case now, because you are sort of now in a leadership position also, many people want to speak to you, right? Maybe for you is that, right, how do you size up a person, right, to whether determine, hey, okay lah, it's worth giving that person an attention. What are the values that you look out for? Because I'm sure, with your limited time, you want to maximize.
Of course.
I see you're a person who is very, very objective.
In a way, yeah.
It's like, don't waste my time if you're gonna talk nonsense with me.
Yeah.
So what are always the things like, okay lah, 可以，我们可以谈, the kind of thing. What are those things that you normally look out for?
Okay, I think importantly is the person sincerity.
Okay.
Yeah, this person, this person is sincere, and this person doesn't have bad motive. Is never doing things for himself, herself, right? And there is a value adding element to it. And also importantly is I feel comfortable with this person. The chemistry is there. There's a lot of factors involved. Whether you want to give your time to a particular person, two things are important to a person: time and money. If I like a person, if I really trust a person, I give money or my time. To me, actually, time is more important than money because I can always earn money, but I cannot use money to buy time. So the gift of time signifies that the importance of this person.
Yeah.
So the fact that today I'm here because honestly, I sense your sincerity.
Okay, thank you.
All right, and not so much that I want to benefit from this podcast. Honestly, it's not, because you follow up with me a few times, and I don't want to disappoint a sincere soul. All right, and I'll see that you are also a fellow Rainmaker, and you are starting this, and I do see the value in what you are doing, and I want to give you my support.
Okay.
That's the reason I'm here.
Understand. Okay.
All right. Yeah.
And thanks for also, not only planning to come on time or early, but also, we are late, you do let me know, right?
Yeah, common courtesy. Yeah.
It's supposed to be a common courtesy, but it's actually not something that I really see a lot.
Okay.
A lot of people, whenever I arrange appointment with them, it's like either they are late, or even when they are late, they can come and then there's no attempt to actually be apologetic to it, that hey, you're late, so I appreciate this kind of people, because to me it's like, not to say that I'm anyone great, but I think that at the end of the day we owe it to ourselves that we walk the talk and we be that person of principles, right? And I really want to thank you for showing that.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah,
I appreciate it, Sebastian.
Yeah, it's being a good role model, if I have to really put it that way.
Thank you.
Yeah. So okay, and like for yours, in terms of for your journey in fundraising, if I were to put it in a very, very simple terms, right? when you talk to
Mhm.
those what right? First of all, the contact is all by cold call one.
Okay, most of the contacts that I have
Ah,
is my own contacts, is either to cold call or through referral, or I met them at events. So you see, there are two types of fundraisers.
okay.
To me, generally, first type is they are more of a fundraiser, but they are more like farmers. The leads were given to them somehow by the senior management, and they just have to do the follow up. The other type is nothing was given to you, you just go and find your own lead and close them. I am the second type, all right, and I prefer this also. Why? I find that it's more challenging, but it is a lot more rewarding, all right, to able to go forth and convert a stranger to a loyal donor. Yeah, so it involves the hunting part and the closing part, the farming part and the closing part, right? Yeah, it is more exciting and it is more rewarding.
Mm-hmm.
And you see, I want to see things that is from the start and to the completion, because it's not how well you start the race. A lot of time when people start on a new project initiative, they are always filled with fire. But the key is never about how well you start the race, how well you finish the race. I want to finish the race with pride and with glory, saying that, I finished, I completed the race.
Mm.
So that is what I have in mind, And fundraising is fun lah. Okay, you must embrace it like it's something that you enjoy. Of course, there'll be rejection along the way.
Yeah.
But I learned that never take rejection personally and don't take it too negatively.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because rejection or failure is part of success.
Yeah.
No successful man has ever faced any failure, rejection. Never.
Mm.
So when we face rejection or failures, it is a time for us to look back and say, what could have done better is a learning point, and I improve myself, I do it better.
Yeah.
And that I don't feel condemned, I don't feel lousy and say, yeah, I don't think it's meant for me, I just give up. No, I think it's the attitude towards failure. You see, it is not whether you have failed or been rejected before. It is how do you manage your emotion after you have been rejected. That is the heart of a champion.
Mm.
It's the way you deal with rejection and failure. That differentiates you from one person from the other. It's never about, oh, this person never faced rejection and been so successful. This person faced rejection. It's never about that. It's how do you react to your situation that makes you different. Yeah.
Therefore, you grow as a person. Every time you embrace that part of the failure and convert it into something that is more positive, right? As long as you have a positive mindset, a mindset of growth,
That's right.
Not a defeative mindset.
That's
in a
right.
sense, then you continue to grow as a person. Because like you say, every rejection that comes your way, right, it is actually a stepping stone for you to be a better person or improve in that sense. And I guess a lot of people, regardless of whether they are fundraisers or even for business owner, we are fundraisers ourselves, but for our own business.
That's right.
Right. The biggest failure that I see is when they think that, they are already well educated in their space. So they refuse to, or not refuse, there is this blockage lah, for them to be receptive towards new ideas, be it a very constructive feedback or not. Yeah. So maybe, okay, circling back on this, right? In your case, it's like when you talk to all these philanthropists, right? I do know that you are talking about, giving them what they want, their innermost wants.
That's right.
Right? Then only they see the value in them parting with that money of
That's
theirs.
right.
Right. So maybe in your case, right, like for now, for this journey of yours, how do you see that you can leverage on this knowledge or this experience of yours, to cultivate a group, or maybe a community like what you're doing now in Rainmaker? Because I understand that the Rainmakers Private Limited, that one was initially for fundraising, right? Is that still around?
Okay.
Or it's converted, right?
Okay. Rainmaker Private Limited, it started by me in
Ah.
2017. It started as a fundraising and as a company. All right. But later, the business model took a turn in 2019, where I decided to change the nature of the business into community building. That's where Rainmaker Community was set up.
Okay.
Yeah, so it means that let's say when a member pay a membership fee to join Rainmaker, they pay to Rainmaker Private Limited. That's when 2019 I wrote in Clinton and say, you come in, you be my co-founder and be my chief marketing officer to run Rainmaker community. Because in 2019 I decided to retire from fundraising.
Okay.
I no longer do fundraising. In fact, right now I'm already retired.
Okay.
Yeah, so Rainmaker community is really my passion. All right, and I no longer actively doing fundraising deals whatsoever. I want to do things that I really enjoy, like spending time with my ministry work, with my family, doing my things like go gym and things that I want to do, and travel. Like I'll be traveling quite a fair bit this year.
Okay.
So I want to really do things that I really enjoy. So I still enjoy doing fundraising, but it will not be my core business. It will not be the thing that I was focused so much on. Yeah. So your question is that
Yeah, your
Did it-
trajectory forward, which you have
Yeah.
already answered a bit already. Yeah. So because the way I see it is like, could that same methodology that you have adopted, when you do your fundraising, be somehow be transferred to like the Rainmaker community to basically cultivate this mindset of fundraisings among themselves, not so much in terms of just monetary gains. Like I said again, fundraising to me, when it comes to wealth doesn't also means material wealth. It can be, in terms of your holistic wealth, right? It can be your wisdom. All this to me is also wealth.
Sure.
So for me, it's like I always believe in this, having knowledge is one thing, but having wisdom is greater,
Of course.
because
Agree.
wisdom will be the greater application of the knowledge
Of
that
course,
you have.
that's right.
So you can be someone who study a lot, who's maybe a lawyer or a doctor, professor with great kind of minds and everything, that you can just spew out beautiful words, of wisdom that people hear that it will be in awe. But if there's no life to it,
That's right.
yeah, then I think it's kind of be wasteful lah. Put it that way. So yeah, I was actually trying to find out, it's like, is there any plan to actually transfer or very subtly, so-called create this mindset within the Rainmaker community that, hey, we actually help each other.
Yeah.
We help each other fundraise. It's like, I teach you about the ways of that, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I think for fundraising is basically about asking for funds for a good cause, right? Of course, you can see from another perspective, means asking for your contribution of your wealth, of wisdom, or your knowledge for a good cause to help someone. Example, you are, let's say you are a mentor. You can help to mentor another younger entrepreneur, right? You are transfer of wealth. So you see, in fundraising is all about attracting people. It's all about attraction. How am I able to to get someone to part the money? Because I'm able to attract this person to me or to the cause or to the organization. And that's why this donor say, okay, because I'm attracted to you, to the cause, to this beneficiary, or I wanted to part with my money. It's about attraction. So the question is, what will make this donor attracted to you? If first this donor, the needs, the wants must be fulfilled.
Okay.
Yeah, whether it is a social need or self-esteem need or a self-actualization need, you need to understand where is the donor now, this stage. That's why I always tell people, how do you move an elephant? You don't try to use a truck or use a crane to move the elephant or try to push the elephant. You can't. You give what the elephant wants. Let's say the elephant is hungry and this elephant loves to eat bananas. You just have to dangle banana in front of the elephant. You just move and the elephant will follow you different. That's it. So how do you move someone? Is give them what they really want. So likewise, if you can understand the principle of fundraising, if you give the donor what they want, what they desire, you apply it in the community. How to build a community? You give what the community members they want. So the question is, why would they want to join a community?
Yeah.
Because they have needs that's unmet. When someone joins a community, there's always two needs. First is a business needs. All right. They want to look for clients, potential partners, employees, supplier, whatsoever. It's a business needs. The second needs are social needs. They join not because they want money, they just want friends. In fact, if I can categorize the two major needs of anyone business or social needs. That's why
Mm.
when I set up Rainmaker, I'm very clear. I want to create a community that meet the needs of most people. That's why Rainmaker is a values-driven community that we meet the business and the social needs of people. It means you can join Rainmaker because you are looking from a business perspective or just from the social perspective. You see,
Mm.
we must create a product that can meet the needs of people. Don't create something and try to sell it. That one is selling. But marketing means I know that there's a need there. I did my research. I know there is a need that's not fulfilled by anyone else. So I developed something to fulfill their needs. So Rainmaker started because at that time I was looking for a community that is focusing on really both social and business needs. And it is a community must be driven by values, not driven by profit. Honestly, I cannot really find one. Since I cannot find one, I might as well create one.
Yeah.
So I created one and called Rainmaker.
Okay.
Yeah, it just take root and it just flourish. So you see, I think we must be a visionary leader to make things happen. Is that we must have the faith to see it and it happen. Some people say, oh, I will only do it when I see it. It's no longer
Mm.
faith. If you want miracles to happen in your life, the faith must come in first, not the sight. You have the faith, then you will have the sight.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have to think different. We have to be different. We cannot follow what other people are doing because then you'll be just like one of them.
Yeah.
You need to be out of the box. In fact, out of this dimension so that you can do something that is extraordinary. Then you can have an impact.
That's true. Okay, thanks for explaining to me. You have already answered the next question that I have in terms of what do you hope for Rainmaker community. So maybe I'll jump forward a bit, right? So in my course of so-called interactions with others, a lot of times, because I myself also am sometimes, in fact, I'm trying to fill this void which I see, in not just the business community. Go back to the same thing. What my main goal is like, can the world be a better place? All right. So when I involve myself in networking groups, I always see that people tend to be in one direction, very money driven, and when you talk to them, it's very salesy a lot of
Sure.
times and everything. So the current group that I'm chairing, okay, I call it actually the Outliers Business Owners Group, right? And some people tell me it sounds like a mastermind group. To me, it's like I have no idea what a mastermind group is all about.
Okay.
But my whole idea is that take for example, there are certain networking groups out there that really promotes, immediate, business to business interaction.
Understand. Yeah.
All right, I'm not gonna name who was that, but there are also certain groups that talks about social,
Sure.
and there is really no so-called what do you call it, catalyst to push forward like beyond social, right? How do you now, since you have all this group of people there, they are also lost because they are looking towards leadership.
That's right.
Which I'll touch upon that later, right? So in this sense, right, what I hope to do in this Outliers Business Owner Group is actually to blend or to mesh. We have the business side of things, right, where we do the networking, where we do the art of basically selling without selling, all this knowledge, all this direct approach, which is more skewed towards hopefully referral mindset, that kind of way. And then we have this the current group that I'm in, which is very knowledge based. So it's all about problem solving, solution finding, where we come together and then let's say I talk to you. Yes, you are like the big boss. I'm my own business, that kind of thing. But we come up with a topic where it's relevant to business owner, and then we bounce idea off each other. So that's the group that I'm in. But what I see is that there is no purposeful networking yet. It's like, okay, now we talk, but at the end of the day, we're not going to talk for free. It's like at the end of the day, business owners, they're always looking out for something. So how do we now fill that area, right? So in what I see as a whole on all these things, all the networking group a lot out there, is that there is this lack of leaders, So maybe based on your observation, right, is there really a severe lack of good leaders, in the business circle, especially when one wants to form, say, so-called a group. Because a lot of time, the way I see it is like leaders, aside from your position is of serving, I call it the servant leadership.
Okay.
All right. But a lot tends to work on the other route, hierarchical.
I understand.
It's like you serve me instead. They talk a lot about it, but in the end it becomes like that.
That's right.
So how do we actually reconcile this so-called conflict, now? And what should we look out for in terms of leaders, and and also how should we now tell the potential leaders is like, these are the values or
Right.
quality of a good leader. So based on your observation now, in Singapore context for
Okay.
business, are there really a severe lack of good quality business leaders?
Okay. Thanks for the question. You see, the fact is, when you have a networking group, you have entrepreneurs, you have bosses. Most of them are leaders already,
Yeah.
right? They are all leaders. I don't see there's a lack of leaders.
Mm.
However, I see a lack of values-driven leaders. Leaders that put the people above profit, above themselves. You see, being a leader is easy. But being a leader that people respect and people follow is another thing. Sometimes you've been a leader because you're being appointed. You're at that position. People have no choice but to follow you, right? But a true leader is you have true followership. It means that when you left an organization or you wherever you go, the people say, you know what, I want to follow you. Because you are the person I want to follow. So that is a true mark of a leader. So I think there are many values that a good leader should have. First, a leader has to be someone that can able to inspire, confident, hope. Because some people are lost in certain areas. You must be able to give them vision and give them the hope to encourage them. A leader must be someone who really care for the members, for the community. It's not someone that put his or her interest above people. A leader should not be so insecure and wanting power. Because the power that was given is for you to do your job better, is to serve. Some leaders they play politics. Why is that so? Because they felt threatened by another particular member who seemingly is more popular. I feel that a leader should be secure and should have confidence. I'll be very happy if all my leaders are popular. Why? Please go and so I don't need to work so hard.
Yeah.
So in fact, I want to hire or I want to engage or recruit leaders who are much more competent than me. That is how the community can grow. Because as a leader I always see myself as a founder and CEO of Rainmaker. I don't want to see myself as I'm the most competent one. I'm the most A-side one. That's not the way. How to grow?
Then you'll be the key man.
Yeah, it's not the way. I feel that my role as the founder and CEO of Rainmaker is to facilitate an environment to get the best people all over the place to be part of the community, to make it more diverse. In fact, I must say that Rainmaker, there are a lot of members, I would deem that they are a lot more successful. They are better than me in many areas. And I'm proud of that.
Yeah.
Because my role is to bring people like that into the community. My role is to really set the environment and certain ground rules so that the community can flourish. It's not like I felt threatened. I must find people who are obedient, have no sense of opinion. They just yes men, How can we grow? So the leader has to be secure. All right, a leader has to be secure. If the leader put the community above himself, you can see from the result. You can see the consequences of it. You are able to attract good people.
Yeah.
All right. So end of the day, it goes down to the values of the person.
Okay.
About the values, the character of a person. So when I appoint leaders, someone asked me, Richard, you got all these super good leader in the chief. What are the qualities you look for in them? I told them, number one thing I look for, I don't care about competency or net worth whatsoever. Some leaders are not even doing very well in the business. Okay, loyalty and faithfulness. They are faithful. All right, they have the sense of loyalty and faithfulness to not to me, to the mission and vision of Rainmaker. Because I want leaders who come in to serve because they really have the heart to serve and they are committed to the vision. A lot of leaders come in and, I want to have this title. After that, after facing some discouragement, disappointment, or, like they feel, Richard, I don't think I want to take on because, now I've got no time whatsoever. Or they tell me things like, like they feel like, I don't feel like doing this anymore. Can you get someone else to do it? To me, is that when you take on the leadership position, especially when you talk about community building, right? It's not like playing a toy. It's not I play with this particular toy. After a while, I feel sick or tired of it. I throw it away. I buy another new toy to play. It is not a plaything. It is a responsibility because you must remember that you have people under you. You have followers. Honestly, for me, I can always don't continue with because my main source of income does not come from Rainmaker.
Okay.
I don't need. In fact, it's taking a lot of my time. I could have said I just give it up.
Yeah.
All right, close shop. That's it.
Yeah.
But it is not about the money. All right, it is the commitment. It is the passion I have. When I want to do something, I want to do it well. As I mentioned, it's not how well I start. I want to finish the whole race. Okay, so it's the values that matters.
Okay. Okay. So last two question. All right. So back to the one where you mentioned about some of the leaders are not doing well, right? So yeah, I always have this thought in me. It's like, how do we then, help these people or get them to be more open? Because the thing is, you can't help others if you can't even help yourself,
Mm.
yet lah. Let me just put it that way lah. And unfortunately, I think a lot of times when people take on the role of being leaders, they have this indirect, or very subtle, influence whereby they feel that, hey, I must look prim and proper,
Understand.
not just in terms of outlook, but in terms of my business. So they may be suffering in silence, right? So for yourself, it's now like being the chief of CEO, right? In let's say in a case whereby let's say we choose to put out this podcast,
Sure.
right? And if there are such leaders out there, what is your advice to them? What's your assurance to them that, like give them the sense of security that, hey, I have a bigger leader, right? How now would you now so-called father them per se and tell them that, hey, you have a safe space with me. You can tell me, you can tell us what you're going through. Don't just go through it alone, right? Because we want you to lead. We want you to want, but we can't have you leading if you are half broken all the time, right?
Understand.
Yeah. So what's your comforting word for such kind of people?
I think importantly is that I always show appreciation and I recognize all my leaders. Sometimes we'll go out for a gathering, we'll just buy them dinner, we just have chit chat session, and I maintain close communication with them. Yeah, and because they are my pillars that really help me to build up Rainmaker. Because I can't do it on myself, right?
Yeah.
So I'm always in constant contact with Janet, Florence, Charlene, Clinton, Claire. They're all my Rainmaker core leaders. So I think it's important for them to feel that there is a constant connection with me. All right, so that they won't feel that I'm out of touch. Because they need to have the assurance. So I'm always there for them. But again, I think it's important for them to understand that being the leader in Rainmaker, it does not mean that you have to be so-called clean and proper. You cannot make mistake. I always feel a true leadership is someone that's authentic. If you're not doing well, just say I'm not doing well. Okay, I need help in certain area. Because sometimes in Asia it's an ego thing, the face thing. Means I'm not doing well, but I don't want people to know I'm not doing well because people look down on me, people gossip about me, there's a fear that. But if there's a trust, it's okay to say that, you know what, in this aspect, I'm not doing very well. Can you help me? You will generate more empathy and positive response, because people tend to feel more towards people who are more vulnerable, isn't it? But because sometimes we want to appear strong. We say, no, I'm okay. Actually, yeah, you're not okay. You just say I'm not okay. I'm not doing well. Maybe financially not doing so well, or emotionally I'm doing so well. Maybe you're just going through a breakup or some family issue. Talk about it.
Yeah.
Talk about it. It's like, do you know that there are quite a number of Rainmakers. Sometimes they'll call me.
Okay.
They say, Richard, I'm going through a bit of issue. I need your advice. Sometimes it's family issue. Sometimes it's marital issue that I do spend time, selectively, all right, to really speak to them and share with them my perspective. I offer a very objective way about how to look at certain things. And some people just need a listening ear. People just need someone to talk to and vent and say, I'm so frustrated about this sort of thing. And after they talked about it, they say, hey, actually my situation is not that bad, Because when you are in that situation, emotions well up.
Yeah.
You can get so lost in this twister, this tornado. It's like you get lost. You don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
Actually, at that moment, you are clouded. Your mind is clouded. You need someone to speak to you and say, you know what, calm the storm. Okay, let me share with you. It's just simple. It's just step A, B, C, D. You just look at it objectively. Actually, you get out of it. It's not that bad. And it's not as bad as you imagine it to be. So that's where community comes in. When a community is based on love, authenticity, respect, kindness, there is a safe space for people to confide and share. Of course, I'm not saying that you share your secret with anybody.
Yeah.
You have to have wisdom, all right,
Discernment
and
also lah.
discernment to see whether this person is the best person to offer advice. Like, let's say you are having problem with your children, you don't find a singers and talk about it. They cannot. Not saying that singers cannot give you advice, but he or she has not gone through that.
Yeah.
Why don't you look for a parent who have perhaps a similar issue, a rebellious teenager example, and say, hey, share with me how. Hey, maybe I can find strength in friends.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So is there such thing like the mentorship sort of like arrangement within Rainmaker itself? Because I think, I'm not sure, correct me if I'm wrong. Sometimes there are these 大老板 out there, and it feels like talking to them is like you want to pick their brains on certain things also. Is like probably the situation doesn't really sort of like promotes that kind of interaction for mentorship, right? I just want to know is like, for that case, is like for a business owner who think that they feel that, I really want to talk to these people, this 老教, these people, successful people. It's more so, it's like I want to learn from them rather than I want to get business from them. I mean, granted, if they give business, that's great.
Sure.
But I think when you learn how to fish yourself, it's even better, right? And I think for the big business owners who are successful, they also sometimes feel it's like, is it the right person? Because they also are vulnerable themselves, because everybody is looking after them, looking for them to give something, right? To take something from them. They also am looking for those mentees that they can actually look for, right? So my question is like, does Rainmaker have this?
Okay, Rainmaker, we do have this Rainmaker Business Mentorship Group.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay.
We do have. And there are a lot of members there looking for mentors and mentees. So we allow them to freely match and talk to one another.
Okay.
All right. In fact, we had one mentorship talk seminar before.
Okay.
Then we worked with Danny Timber Group, all right, and he was there as one of the panelists sharing about his mentorship experience, things like that. So in Rainmaker, we do encourage members to find mentee or mentor. To me, it's very simple. You are a mentor as well. You are a mentee. In your case, you mentioned about this 大老板. You think they know everything? No, there are certain things you can mentor them. Agree?
Yeah.
Maybe they are they're doing very well in the F&B business. They make a lot of money from there. It's growing. But when it comes to videography, event planning, they know nothing. So you should mentor them, isn't it? So what I'm trying to share with is that there shouldn't be any fear or reservation for you to approach someone and say, you know what, I admire you in this aspect. I need you to come. Do you mind spend some time and maybe we have a cup of coffee and you share with me your experience? I just want to learn from you. I'm sure with this humble approach, a lot of them were willing to do it. Because sometimes it's we ourselves, there's a self-limiting belief. We fear that, who am I to talk to this big boss? This person reject me. Okay, there's a fear of rejection again. So I might as well don't, because what if this person think that I'm trying to sell him things, whatever, because of that. So a lot of time there's a self-sabotage mentality. Means before I even I start the battle, I declare, oh, I surrender, I lost. You know what I mean? It's a defeatist spirit that we have to be aware. So if you feel that there is someone that you want to learn, just go for it and say, you know what, hey, have a friendship with the person first. Say, you know what, I want to learn from you. I know that this is an aspect you're doing very well, and I know that my business is not doing as well, and I feel that you can offer me advice. Do you mind? Maybe you just spend me half an hour. We can have a chit-chat session. I just want to learn from you. I'm sure that most of them were willing to give you that time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great mindset and approach. Yeah.
That's right. Your own mindset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True, true, true. Okay. Last question, which is going back to this. Do you plan to have an audible version, an audio version of this?
Okay, I
Huh?
for the time being, honestly,
For slow reader like me.
okay.
Like, finish.
So far, I don't have a plans yet, lah. But you can always get someone to to make audio for you, read it. Yeah. So far, I don't really have plans to really promote this book
Okay,
because
okay.
for me, I already more or less retired from the fundraising scene. Yeah, and when I produce this book, right, it is more to take one of my bucket list. Yeah, because I I'm not there to really like to promote myself as a fundraiser. I want to raise funds for someone. No, not really. Fundraising is really my passion. All right. And right now it is a different phase in life. You know, I'm 50 this year, right? I'm 50 this year. And
50.
I'm 50 already.
Which month?
April.
Oh, okay, April, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm 50 this year. And I want to really enjoy my life and do things that are meaningful. All right, because doing fundraising is enjoyable, it can be very stressful. All right, and at this stage, anything that causes me stress, I will not entertain. Because why should I if I given a choice, right? Last time, I have no choice, so I'll do it. Stress, I'll do it. But if I have a choice, why should I put myself under that stressful situation?
So for your case now is like what actually, make you feel more at home in terms of the activities. So like take for example, maybe for like my case, my idea of retirement is sit down, go kopitiam, la kopi, watch the days goes by, maybe read a bit of book and that's about it. Not really about dealing with humans and always listening to people whine and whine and whine. Because I know I really believe in the law of average, and if we continue to hang out with that group of people, your mindset will deteriorate
Sure.
and I really believe that our mind should actually be much more active than that, for greater good in a sense. So that's why I run all these podcasts.
Sure.
It's a faster way for me to actually
Understand. Tap on the brain.
to tap on people's brain and listen to them. And it's like, wow, there's so much of things to learn, and I enjoyed it. So for your case, it's like, so what's your so-called cup of coffee moment?
Okay, for me,
retirement.
for me is retirement doesn't mean I do nothing.
Mm.
Okay, I just do things I enjoy doing. So one of the things I really enjoy doing is to sleep.
Okay.
Sleep and just enjoy a good rest. All right, and sometimes just chill, do nothing. Occasionally, do things I like. Go gym, spend time with family. And I'm a Christian, so I will read the Bible. I will listen to sermon. All right, I'll spend time with God. I'll do things that I really enjoy doing. And but I want to share, I want to offer a different perspective about the law of average because a lot of people say, oh, you are someone like the people that I mix with, like the top 5 friends, sort of thing.
Okay.
I think this is one aspect of looking at it, but my another perspective is this: is that I don't want to see myself as, oh, I must mix with people who are more successful to me than me, because if I always meet with people who are less successful than me, I'll be like one of them. Then you think about it. Then if everybody have this mindset, the successful people, very, very successful people will not want to meet with me because they will say that, you know what, Richard, you are not at the level. If I meet with you, then I'll be like you. I'm talking about the billionaire. Then who is going to help to mentor me? You see, you get what I mean? So the right mindset is this. I love to mix with people who are successful than me. But I don't mind mix with people who are less successful than me also.
Yes.
Because it is a different purpose. The first purpose of meeting people who are more successful than me are people that I can learn from them. People who I meet who are less successful than me are people that they can learn from me.
Yeah.
Some people say, oh, I cannot mix with people who are less successful because I don't want to drain into a negativity. I just cut that off. To me, this is a very childish and a very immature mindset because it's a matter of pride, ego. So you think what, you are so you look down on friends who are less successful, you cut them off? No. Right? A leader is you are able to embrace people from all walks of life. Sometimes the world teaches us things that is really all about ourselves. Oh, you want to be rich, you better meet with the multi-millionaire, the billionaire. All right, forget about those people who are negative whatsoever. But think about it, there are people who are not so successful or so-called the negative people. Sometimes they can teach us the greatest truth.
True.
You can learn the greatest truth, not so much from the most successful people, but people who you deem are the less successful one. They have gone through the gems of life. They've gone through many, many things that is all hidden. But the truth is this: do you have the eyes to see and extract? So I don't believe in what sometimes the world teach. We must have our own conviction and mindset of seeing things. All right. Everyone there is a story. Every face tell a story. Everyone there's something to learn. Even a cardboard,
Yes.
collector.
Yeah.
You think nothing to learn from this person? I'm sure there are things that you
Yes.
can teach me something so precious,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So we cannot have the mindset that I must only mix with people who are successful to learn from them. Not necessary. You can learn from people, everyone. When we keep our mind open, you become very all-encompassing, all-embracing. You'll be a better version of yourself.
Definitely. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I agree with that. And just that I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. To me, it's like definition of success again is really not about whether you're materially more richer or
Yep.
your position in life. I would say probably like for my case, it's like maybe at this juncture, it's time for me to actually stay away from people who have defeatist mindset. Reason being is that you know sometimes we already have our own
Struggle.
struggles and cares and everything, right? I agree with you. It's like I hang around. We have this thing. It's like the Gen Z and the Gen X are like worlds apart. The way they think. Or worse still is the Gen Alpha,
That's right.
right? But to me, it's like you can still hang around with them because they are the new generation. And it doesn't mean that our ways is the way.
All right.
Right. So this is where are you open enough to learn from them? Maybe to you it's like okay lah, it's something that you're not comfortable with. But if you were to see it from another perspective, maybe that's how things can actually work out better and better. That's where actually evolution, all this comes into play, of all the society, right? So probably if I were to rephrase that lah, it's more of like the law of average to me is more on that angle.
I see. I understand.
Yeah,
I
like
know where you're coming from.
yeah, it's like when you go into a networking group and yeah, like everybody's supposed to work together. It's like you join a football team. Can you imagine the goalkeeper is like, you all anyhow kick one just not gonna pick the ball or whatever, right? Then you have a defender. It's like it's okay one lah. Sometimes he will like that. Sometimes we get to defend. Sometimes we don't get to defend. Can you imagine people who constantly give excuses for mistake that happens and happens again, but refuses to see with their own eyes, the true eyes, that hey, you can do something about it. Yeah. So I think for me is when it comes to the law of average, that's what I meant. It's like I don't really want to hang out with these people because it's not that you're not successful, but partly because where you are now is because of your mindset, and it's very draining.
So it's more like you don't want to hang out with people who are toxic. Yeah, rather than successful not because there are successful people who can be toxic also. And I also
toxic.
don't want to hang out with them. So it's nothing to do with the success. It's the mindset is toxic. Some people who are deemed successful, they can be toxic.
Toxic.
Yeah, they can be very negative also. Because they are very good in generating business. But other aspect, they can be very toxic. And this is the people that I don't want to get involved. Right? Yeah. So I think end of the day, we must know ourselves, what we really want, and what really makes us happy, and pursue it. And sad to say, there are people who don't really know what they want. They are lost because they do not really know what they want. There are a lot of people tell them what they should do and what they want. So they are like the wave being tossed by the wind. They are very unstable. But we have to be very clear. What do we really want? What is the purpose of my existence on earth? What is my calling? And what can I do to create impact? When the big goals are clear, we can able to have smaller goals and come up with different strategies to support our goal. Then we have a direction in life. Or else we are like lost sheep. We are very lost. We don't know, right? So
a ship with a broken rudder.
Yeah. So the clarity of mind and our goals has to be there.
That's good. Well, I'm very happy to actually have this conversation with you.
Me too. Thank you so much
Yeah,
for
the
the
bouncing of
opportunity.
ideas is something that I
Yeah,
really
I
like.
enjoy it as well.
Okay, yeah, so that is the end of the podcast.
Okay.
Yeah, I keep it usually around 30 minutes or
All right.
so.
Thank you so much. Okay.